we've got just a few minutes to do a couple questions from the audience. So the first question that we do have is there a typical rate of decline in specific capacity for wells in different terrains?
The simple answer is no, there is not. What we typically see, though, is when the well has been installed in an area that's, say, maybe close to wetlands, as Ted talked about a little earlier, where there's elevated iron manganese concentrations, we may find that the well screen tends to foul a little bit quicker, as opposed to areas where they're at greater distance from those locations. We have instances of clients every 6 months to a year, they have to redevelop their wells because of the biofouling, the natural biofouling which is occurring because of iron or manganese deposits. We have other clients and they have not redeveloped their wells in 40 years because the water quality is so good that you do look at the well screen itself and it looks like it was just put in yesterday. So there's no hard and fast rule, but if you say every 3 to 5 years you want to take a look at it and make sure the specific capacities are still where they are, that would be a good little rule of thumb.
Great, thank you. One other question that we received was speaking about iron fouling. What are your recommendations for reducing the potential for iron fouling?
Wow, this is an excellent question. And a lot of it has to do with the formation itself. Sometimes if you start pumping the well way too hard, harder than you're supposed to, and your pumping level is lower than where it's supposed to be, sometimes people have their pumping level in the well screen, you may find that you're increasing the entrance velocity such that you now begin to have greater precipitation or growth of organisms, iron-bearing organisms within the well screen. Those are the two big things.
Great. What are the symptoms of underpumping a well resulting in low velocity through the screen?
That's actually a good question. And I can honestly say, I don't have very many clients who underpump their wells. They typically overpump their wells as opposed to underpump them. But what will happen is, depending upon the chemistry of the water, the groundwater itself, there may actually be deposits that just naturally grow there as opposed to being induced by the low velocity. Frank, I don't know if you're there, if you have any thoughts on that.
No, to be honest, I'm kind of in the same situation as you. I'm not familiar with we have very many clients who underpump their well unless it's in response to something such as they're trying to minimize impact, say from some man-induced contamination. And so what they're trying to do is regulate the water quality because of that, because typically, efficiency-wise, as you said earlier, the wells are designed and they're developed for a maximum efficiency. And so that usually is resulting in some design rates. So that's usually what the purveyor, the utility, the well user is going to try to target in their use of the well. Right. So relative to the low velocity, no.
Great, thanks. And we've got our final question today is going to be, should a homeowner, private well owner, I believe that is, worry about specific capacity decline?
Excellent question. Most homeowner wells that we have, at least around New England, are typically bedrock wells, and the amount of the yield from these bedrock wells is fairly small, and we have not seen any great change in the specific capacity of residential bedrock wells. Now, sometimes homeowners have dug wells that are fairly shallow, maybe 20 feet or less or something like that, or they may have ones which have extensions which go out into wetland areas. And then what you may have instances, depending upon water quality, they could be iron fouling associated with the aquifer itself, the shallowness of the aquifer. But typically, we've not seen a lot of decline in homeowner private wells.
Great, thank you. So that's about all we have time for today for questions. And if you have any questions that were not addressed today, you can always email them to us at GOLI@americangeosciences.org, and we'll make sure to send your questions along to Ray, Ted, and Frank. Today's course, just as a reminder, is just the first in a 4-part series on New England aquifer. And the next course will be on September 20th. So for more information on the rest of the courses in this 4-part series, go ahead and visit www.americangeosciences.org/workforce/GOLI. So thanks again, Ray and Ted, for your presentations, and for Frank for also sharing some insights there during the question and answer session. We really appreciate you taking the time to share your expertise and your insights with us today. And this concludes our webinar for today. So thank you everyone for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you next time.